Hey everybody, it's your girl Rhonda with another episode of the Shelter Files, where I go to the shelter, the local shelter, and I walk the awesomest, bestest dogs that are available for adoption. So first up is Bosco. 50% awesome, 50% strong, 100% good boy, will drag you, okay? Drag me like I traded him bad, right? But a strong dog. So you know what you're getting with a strong dog. You know that they're going to pull every which way, but eventually they're gonna calm down. He was a good boy. He was just sniffing. He was going through, it was a little spooky because he was going through and he was kind of, ooh, plants, vegetation, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he didn't care. I was like, please stay away from that, sir. That could be like poison ivy, poison oak. He was like, I don't care, dude. I'm out the kennel. Awesome dog. Great entry to the kennel. He was awesome. He was some sort of mix. I love the mixes. They're great. So the next dog up was Brice. Brice was a big mouth staffy. You know I'm partial to the staffies. Kwame's a staffy. So I was like, ooh, awesome. 74 pounds of just power, of muscle. He was another one. You got him out there. He was just like, we going to the trails. Where's the trails? So I'm a new volunteer. I'm still learning where the trails are. So my first thought was to put them in the playroom to have them burn a little energy. He wasn't feeling it, which is fine. So when he was like, I'm ready to go, let's go get on this trail. We got on that trail and he just kept going. What was interesting about him, I mean, because I think I'm a dog person, you know, myself. He was like, nah, you know, he was a little bit more standoffish. Maybe he's because he was older, 7 years old, not sure what his background was. Built like a tank. So what I do is what I do when they're like that, because again, they're pulling because a lot of them have not been leash trained. I stop. If they just feel like they're pulling, you hear them breathing, you know, the breathing may sound a little different. I stop them and we just stop and we pause. We just take a break, go sniff a flower, go sniff some grass, something like that, take a break, and then we get back into it. He may have been heartworm positive, and I don't know, I'm not gonna get to the research of heartworms, but it does make the dogs more tired. I think he was positive. Now they said he was not. On his card, we get to read cards, I do, and it said he was not, but just the way he was acting after a while, I felt like he was. Again, we took a break. I just sat down in the grass with him like I was 5 years old, you know, and just to let him kind of mellow out a little bit, because listen, we all need breaks. Even me, because after that I was like, look, we need to pause, you know, because it's hot, but it was great. It was good to get the dogs out. So I try to break this down into lessons. So the lesson today was twofold. So I don't advise that if you don't know a dog, I don't advise touching them in the face. I know sometimes you look, oh, puppy. I don't advise that. You just don't know how the dogs will react. So I don't do that. What I do is I say I do with my dogs too, because they're anxious dogs. I tell them I'm touching them, and some level they understand it, either by my energy I'm moving closer, or they just understand it and I touch them. That's what I did with the shelter dogs as well. And I started back. I started on his leg, and then as I felt like I could comfortably move up, I moved up the back so that I'm touching from back here. I'm not reaching over, because you just don't know what the dogs have been through, and you don't know what that will do to them. You know, and I'm not saying they'll lunge at you or anything like that. You just don't know. You have to be very careful with that. And then, like I said, breaks and more breaks for them and for me. It calms the energy down. They're just getting out the kennel. They are ready to go. They're like, you know, let me drag you. And again, a lot of them have not been leash trained. A lot of them are strays, so they've never really been around humans like that. So you got to be slow with them, and you just have to sort of let them dictate what you're going to do. And it really worked out. Like I said, with the staffy, he was sort of like, you know, and the whole time he was like, no. And that was fine. But eventually, once he like laid down and chilled out, he let me get closer to him, which is just fine. So this is my adventure with the Shelter Files this week. And I hope you'll join me next week when I go back to the shelter to walk 2 more very awesome dogs and tell you all about it. All right, take care. See you soon.